Broadcast. Let's see if everything is okay. Hello, everybody. Hello. It's been a while. I haven't done a live stream in quite a little while, guys. And today I'm going to come to you and talk to you about the Canon full frame mirrorless that's been announced. I saw that my good friend Amar talked a bit about it. I don't know what he said, but I'm going to talk to you about what I have to say. And maybe, you know what, I'm going to phone up Amar and we might even have a little discussion on this because I think we both really agree on this. But Canon is coming out with an exciting full frame mirrorless. I find it great that they come out with this and they decide to do it right after the Nikon Z was announced. And so I think strategically that was probably what they were going to do. But before I start the video, I just want to tell you guys that Jacques Gaines photography is all about getting the shot and the journey getting there. And not only about that getting the shot. So I want you guys to stay tuned, like, subscribe to this channel, and make sure you share as much as possible because it's all about making something from nothing. Stay tuned for my GFX. I've done a couple, the Fuji has given me the GFX 50S. They haven't given it to me. They lent it to me for 3 weeks. So I've been using it and it's been pretty cool. This video is already out, testing the Fujifilm GFX S with some sample images. And it's quite cool. I'm going to come up with an in-depth review from a guy who's not really a big pixel peeper, but it's going to be kind of cool to have that mother sucker out there. And the last thing I want to say is check out my video on street photography tips when traveling to New York City. It's been a hit. Never thought that thing would do so well. And it's a great video just to know a couple of things that I learned on my own when I went to New York City and what it was like. Thomas, you're there. Oh my God. Oh, time this time. What do you mean, oh, time this time, and a big smile? I guess it's late where you are. It's probably pretty late where you are. But anyways, listen, I'm going to talk about this according to the Canon Rumors site. Now that's as you can see up here, canonrumors.co. It's probably one of the best places for you guys to check out the latest specs on what's going on. They have their sources. We don't always know where they're from, but they always find out what's going on. And this is basically the shape that they're talking about what this camera is going to look like. Now I look at this and I see a lot of technologies and borrowed forms coming from their existing technologies. And right off the bat, I got to tell you guys before we start this video, a lot of this is going to be just a lot of praise because I really do like this company. But I'm relatively excited on the specs that I see. Now, body and form, it looks like it's going to be a great camera. I think form factor and all of that is going to be great. So that's all I just wanted to say about the actual body and form factor. I think it's going to be a fun camera, and that will lead me to my next slide right here, guys, which is a couple of cool facts. Now, according to Canon Rumors, they have been told that this is to compete directly with the Sony a7 III and the Nikon Z series that just came out. I think it's a wise move. I think it's a smart move. I think they're going to start slow. I think Canon has realized that no matter how much they try to deny the fact that they're the big guys out there in terms of mirrorless cameras right now, I think Sony has taken the edge, and you can say mirrorless wise, Sony has got the edge. So you got to go against their lower competing guys. That's my personal opinion. Now, in terms of a camera manufacturer, their glass, their ergonomics, the way their cameras work in a professional setup is a completely different story, and it's not sort of the discussion we should have right now, but I just wanted to mention that. Now, anyone joining in right now, just want to tell you that this was a live stream, and it is a live stream right now, but make sure you keep on watching. We're going to talk about some of the specs, and I'm going to converse with you guys. Anyone leaving comments, go leave them all. I will take the time at the end of this live stream to answer what my opinion is on everything I see. Now, another thing I liked about this slide, what they showed in the Canon Rumors, is the size. Now, if you look right here, they're showing basically a normal I think that's an EOS 5D, if I'm not mistaken. In here, it's hard to tell, but I think that's an EOS 5D, basically one of the DSLR cameras that Canon has. You can see that the size has definitely been reduced. So that is also very nice. They also point to a little lever here that's going to be new, and the on top of screen, which is somewhat similar to the X8 I. that little screen at the top, which I find really cool because for some reason, Fujifilm is one of the only people whose screen at the top of the camera has actually followed the times, where everyone's basically behind on their screen technology. Why? Probably because it works, and when it works, you just don't fix it. Now, let's go to lenses right away. I want to talk about lenses, and I think I have a lot of praise for Canon right off the bat here. I think their choice of lenses, where they went with 2 zooms and 2 primes. And I have a feeling, my personal opinion here, speculation, everybody, I'm not saying this is the way it's going to be, but I have a feeling that their primes are going to be great. The 2870 f2, I think that's a great idea. Their 50mm f1.2L, I think that's a smart move. They're bringing out a 35mm f1.8M. I do not know, it's going to be image stabilized, which is nice, but I do not know if it's actually going to be an L lens. So 3 L lenses and 1 regular lens, but in the Canon, I don't know, in the Canon zone, it's good quality anyways, no matter what you're dealing with. I think they have some great lenses. Funny, I mentioned that, and I'm looking at this one right here, the 10-18, by the way, which is fantastically cheaply made lens, but the quality of it is absolutely fantastic, and I really do love it. So I think their choice of lenses is great. I think where they went is a good idea, and it's a nice way to start in the mirrorless, full frame mirrorless foray. As you know as well as I do, your picture is only as good as your lens. You can have great technology, you can have 20 frames per second, all kinds of stuff, but if your lens family isn't great, then you can have a camera that doesn't take good pictures, no matter how good the actual body is. So I have a feeling that they've made some good choices here on the lens situation. Now, let me go into the specs. These are all leak specs. Again, guys, I'm just going to show you real quick because I really don't want to take credit for all this stuff. It really is from canonrumors.co. If you can, you guys go and at least subscribe to their station. I think you can actually get notifications. That's what I do with them. But let's go to some of this is the list of specs that, okay, sorry about that, everybody. Just want to show you. This is the list of specs that Canon Rumors has shot out there, and we're going to talk about them right now. Go through each one. I'll give you my opinion, what I think, and what is speculation and what is not. But now the first one is the 30.3 million pixels full-size CMOS. I think it's really cool. I think the fact that it's 30.3 million pixels, probably they will be announcing a new processor generation because this sounds like a sensor that is brand new. Normally, if it had been something that was like an old sensor that they just stuck into a new camera, it probably would have been 24 megapixels or the 20 megapixel camera. So I believe they're most likely going to announce a new processor and new technology in that lens, in that camera. Now, dual pixel CMOS, everybody out there who has not dealt with dual pixel CMOS, that is a big, huge, fantastic piece of news right there. Dual pixel, for me, I live by it. I have it on my 80D. I love it. For anyone who actually uses the camera for sports or action or show photography, wedding, it is a fantastic dual pixel. So the fact that it's in the mirrorless, they're going to go straight on with the A7 IIIs, because A7 III, as you know, has some new fantastic autofocus technology that's really good, especially concerning continuous autofocus. Canon has already been there for a while with their dual pixel technology, so I thought that was a great thing that they had that there. 4K video, Canon has not done too well with their 5D Mark IV and a couple of their other cameras. The 4K implementation has not been great. Sony came in with it so soon. They didn't do great at the beginning, but they corrected themselves as time went on. So I hope that Canon will come out with some 4K video that kicks some ass, that's actually editable, that can be used. So it's another thing that's kind of cool. Touch panel liquid crystal, I have no doubt that it will be fantastic, that it's going to be just great touch panel. They already got great touch panel technology on all their stuff, and to me, it is the industry standard. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth installed, dustproof, drip proof. Now, I don't know what that means, to what extent this is going to be a weather resistant body. Maybe on the first generation, it might not be super weather resistant, but hey, nothing is really weather resistant in the end. Battery grip. We're going to be on the LPE6N. Now, that's the newer technology of battery, which holds its own. I think the fact that you're going to have that is going to be great. It's really, really, really cool. So you're going to have good, I think you're going to have good battery life. Let's see how this LPE6N will do with a mirrorless, because never forget that when you're dealing with a mirrorless, you do there's a lot of battery power that goes into the actual preview of the image. When you're looking through the EVF or the LCD, there's a lot of battery power to project the preview of what you're about to shoot. So we'll see how the LPE6N lasts, how it will be able to deal with that. It's not an easy task, people. On any mirrorless camera, battery power is always a big challenge. There's gonna be a battery grip, and again, I love this about Canon. They don't come into the market with something that doesn't work. They come up into the market with something that really does work, and the fact they're gonna give you the ability to have a battery grip is fantastic, and I really do like. It's going to be called the BGE22. Now they go through also, if you guys want to look at the actual details of the actual the dimensions of the camera, it is naturally smaller because it is a mirrorless camera, approximately 580 grams. Then they talk about the mount. Sounds like it's going to be a different mount. Therefore, there's going to have to be adapters, and the next announcement they have, and these are all rumors, remember, this is not the true confirmed specs, but there will be an adapter for EF to EOS R. There's going to be a control ring mount adapter for EF to EOS R, and a drop-in filter mount adapter to EF to EOS R. Good news for anybody doing video on that drop-in filter mount adapter. What's really great, whether you're speaking of Nikon Z or Canon EOS R full-frame mirrorless cameras, is that the adapters they're going to sell are going to be lagless, fast, as good as if you use the camera directly with one of the native lenses. So all your glass you own right now, be it the 70 to 200, you paid $2,300 or you paid $1,800 for a great lens from Canon, you can keep those lenses without any problem. Your form factor is going to be a bit bizarre. Remember that the fact that you have a mirrorless camera that's so thin, and you put that adapter on, you're going to have a little tube that pops your lens out a bit more. Therefore, the whole idea of having a smaller camera, because it's mirrorless, is a tad lost. Just a tad lost. So that's, to me, what I see here is my conclusion, everybody. I see Canon doing what they have always done. They sometimes they say to themselves, and they get caught off guard, Sony or someone else will come out with a great technology, and they'll look at that and they'll go, you know what, we don't have that yet, but we're not going to rush to bring that out. And I think their marketing department and their development department really does a good job. They say to themselves, we're going to bring this stuff out, we're going to match the competitors, but we're going to do it either as good, if not better. So kudos to Canon for what I think is coming up. I'm pretty darn excited. I could be disappointed later on. I could love what they have. We will see. I mean, I really hope that it's going to be something great. And I just wanted to go through the preview with you guys on Canon, on the Canon Rumors site. Now I will answer some of the questions, see what you guys are writing right over here, and see what you guys are saying. Whoa, there's a lot of people out there. 26 people. Hey, that's okay. Oh, 9 p.m. It's 9 p.m. over there, Thomas. Thomas Melfick, he's from in Eastern Europe, I believe. Here's a question. I've been waiting for a Canon announcement for so long. I'm just getting into videography, and I think this camera is very promising for a newbie like me. Well, you are right. Now, one thing we haven't talked about is price. We'll see where they price this thing, but I think most likely Canon, because of the size of the company, they are going to be aggressive. They have a tough competitor to match. A7 III is selling at a great price, and you get a monster of a camera in terms of specs. With the A7 III, I think Canon might at least minimum match what is going on with Sony. Jonathan Allard, a newbie who's willing to spend a bunch. Yes, digging in the specs so far, 30 megapixels is a nice sweet spot. Poor Nikon. That's what the guy says here. I have to agree on that. I think what Canon did say is, listen, we're going to develop the camera and we're going into 2019. I mean, we're not going to stay at 24 megapixels. We're going to move them up. Now, it all depends on how much you prioritize megapixels. I've been dealing with the GFX 50S. I've had, 50-some megapixels with that, and I have not really seen the utility of all that megapixel. I think if you're doing print and stuff like that, it might be something that's interesting for you. But I believe bringing up the megapixels and going with some new technology is a nice thing, and I'm happy they did it. I mean, it gets me, I just love Canon colors, the workflow, the way the camera feels in my hands. I love it. Two of the best cameras for me when I picked them up, Nikon and Canon, and I'm sure on both these mirrorless, be it the Z or the R, the feel is something to be reckoned with from other companies, something that I believe Sony just doesn't have personally. Another thing here, I know it's a matter of taste, but I prefer Canon's ergonomics. Yes, I agree with you, Jonathan. Even the finish on the body, I don't like the material finish of the Sonys. I feel their screens are prone to break. I don't know. I haven't, the last Sony I owned, everybody, so, you know, bear in mind who's giving you the critique about Sony's. The last Sony I owned was the Sony A6000. Therefore, I wanted you to note that. So I don't know how the camera has developed since then. To inspect the camera, it looks to me that I'll stay Fuji Canon shooter for a long time to come. Yeah, Thomas is going to stay there, I think, but he's always been a big Fuji Canon guy. I think I'm going to be staying in the same thing. Yeah, I kind of agree. Jonathan Allard says, how do you feel about the Canon 6D Mark II and this EOS R coming out? I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to sell their 6D Mark II and go for the EOS R. I'm not sure, but it looks pretty good. I'm excited, but I have been disappointed in the past. Okay, Bao Nguyen says, Jonathan, I agree, more like an updated version of the 6D Mark II. Yeah, you can kind of say that, I guess. Do you think it's going to be good? JP Madison. I really do, JP Madison. In general, I think it's going to be a good camera. I'm just a big fan of Canon. I'm a self-admitted fanboy of what they do. I still look at my old Canon 6D Mark I shots, and I'm having a hard time matching the crispiness, the colors, and everything. So I'm a big fan of them. I think this camera is going to be a great camera. Most importantly, when you put it in your hands, it's going to feel like something you can work with. I really do think so. Okay, down here, I fear the 4K will be crippled in some way, but that would be a huge mistake considering what it... You know, knowing Canon, I think they've realized their mistakes. They have realized a lot of their mistakes they made with the 4K implementation they did. Let's see how they come out with their 4K now. They might decide to bring some of their C100, 200, 300 technologies down to these cameras. I think it would be a wise thing to do. For some reason, they feel they're always cannibalizing on their C100 line, the C line for cinema, but they shouldn't be doing that. You know, they should just be bringing some of that technology down because they have it. So it's just not the same market, so they shouldn't be doing that. But I have a fear that that is the case. Someone else mentioned that they're only rumors. Yes, that is true. What's the EF megapixel count? I would invite you guys to go on the Canon Rumors site, and as I said before, go to Canon Rumors, and at the bottom they ask you to be part of the actual newsletter. Be part of it because you'll find out everything as soon as it comes out. Man, I'm being like a real ambassador for them. Okay, wow, there's a lot of stuff here. Thanks guys for writing and joining in. It's kind of fun. I've been reading about Canon can be a surprise or drop off. Yes, that's true. That has happened. Not known at the moment. I guess these specs will be known when it's officially announced. Yes, I like a lot about this camera, and the new lenses look great, but unless the camera has great eye autofocus, the lack of a joystick is rough. Yes, a lot of people out there really like that whole joystick thing. I've lived with it and I've lived without it. If there is a joystick or not, it depends on your workflow. I have adapted to the joystick workflow on the X-T2 and on the GFX 50S, and I do like it a lot. It is nice to be able to move your joystick around, but I have to admit it would be nice if they added that joystick in. Would definitely be a good addition. So Steve Anderson, I totally 100% agree with you. I was thinking about selling my Canon F full frame gear and going to Fuji X-T3, but this makes it a harder decision. Gotta wait to see how they both perform. Steve, here's my personal opinion. Keep your Canon full frame gear, go out there and shoot, keep on shooting. You got some great stuff there. The X-T2 is a fantastic camera, but I personally would wait for the mirrorless to come in. And if you want to go towards mirrorless, this is going to be a great camera to go from DSLR to mirrorless and stay within your ecosystem. Remember, don't ever forget when you flap that credit card on the table and you go and you say, okay, I'm gonna buy the 70-200 f 2.8. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make the jump. Don't forget that you did that and you paid that lens off, and the value of that lens and your glass that still exists is there. With adapters on the new mirrorless, it's going to be lagless. You're going to have that super fantastic glass, and you're going to be working in a mirrorless environment, which is a whole ton of fun. I really do think so. And here's Dull's rules. Do you think DR will suck compared to Nikon and Sony? DR. What is DR? Anyone out there who knows what DR is, please comment. Here we go. DR. What's DR? Peter Kent. It looks great. Love the EF adapter plans. Yeah, I agree. Really good stuff. From specs, it looks like Canon did not go cannibalizing their DSLRs. Good job on accepting and adapting for the future. You know, I have a feeling now, before I end, because I will end now, and I'll let you guys talk amongst yourselves. There's two other important things I want to mention here. One is, do not forget that everything changes when it comes to price. If they bring this camera out and it's $4,000 or $4,500, it can be said, you know what, I'm paying way too much for what I get. But if it comes in matched in at the A7 Mark III price, which is another thing I also want to mention, and it's stabilized like the A7 Mark III, because that's another thing that nothing is mentioned here yet about whether the sensor will be stabilized inside or not. I don't know the deal on that. But if they come in at the same price, this thing could revolutionize the whole idea of mirrorless, because you take Canon and their history and you bring it into the mirrorless full frame market, which right now is basically monopolized by Sony, and now with Nikon that just came in. A lot of drama on the whole Nikon thing, by the way. Peter Kent, Jonathan's answering Peter Kent. Okay, cool. Dynamic range, I do not know as well what it's going to be like. I think we're at a stage now that dynamic range just kicks ass in general, all over the place. Be it with your Sony, your Canon, you just got plenty of stops of dynamic range on most of these cameras. So you guys, that is basically what I had to say. I wanted to weigh in and give you my personal ideas, just so you know. I'm a videographer and photographer. I do a lot of video. I use the Canon system, basically. I've been using Fuji X-T2 as well in the APS-C world, and I have been loving those cameras. Really great. I like their glass. I really like the Fuji glass. So coming from a guy who just shoots, that's what I do. I shoot. I don't really look at the specs or pixel peep too much, but that is my personal opinion on what is happening with the Canon system now and the whole rumors coming out. I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember that Jacques Gaines Photography is not only about getting the shot, but it is about the journey getting there. You guys like, share, subscribe, but don't forget, everybody, keep on making something from nothing.